Hi everyone, my name is Seppo Sormunen. I'm a founder of Finnish company called Pukki Visuals. Um, you can find our website here, and if you want to know more about us, what we do, and well, we do all sort of things. We do multi-camera productions, TV graphics, TV productions, advertisement, TV advertisement, and things like that. Um just pop there and find more. But this video isn't about me or my company. It's about Caspar CG. And first of all, I apologize my not so perfect English. It's more like it might sound like a rally English in time to time. You know, when Kimi Räikkönen is speaking, it's not so perfect, so spare with me. Um, but okay, yeah. So this video is all about Caspar CG and how to create easily, great looking, and quite flexible templates for it, and especially by using Adobe Edge Animate tool. As you might know, Caspar CG uses well, it's first of all it's made by Swedish Television, good guys there, big props for this. It's a free tool, you're free to use it, and it's really great. I love it. But when I started using it a couple of years ago, there was one major problem for me, especially. Well, it wasn't a problem, but it was a thing that made things a little bit harder. And the reason for that was because Caspar CG uses Flash as its main format for graphics, and I don't like Flash at all. I hate it. It's some things are okay, easy to do, but some things are a little bit harder, and the coding and things like that, it's not. And nowadays, when the Flash is actually dying out, luckily Caspar CG now has an HTML support as well, and that's something really amazing, and I love it. It makes things easier. You can do it. You can still code manually. I've done that, and it's okay. But sometimes you still need something like drag and drop, and what you see is what you get type of workflow. And I tried several different HTML editors for that. Some of them were good, some of them were bad, but there was usually a one big major failure. All of or they wasn't that perfect. The thing when you wanted to, you could do actually easily animate things in and out, but when you wanted to change something in code with JavaScript, then the problem started, and there wasn't actually an easy way to uh, change the content of divs or anything like that from your own code. So I started to investigate that, and because I use, or I think that major part of people use Adobe products for creating their graphics, the Photoshop, After Effects, and things like that, to create the actual graphic elements. Why wouldn't be an Adobe product that could actually animate the templates and make that part easy? And there is an Edge Animate now, and that really helps. And I tried it, I fell in love, but there was still one problem: the integration between the Edge Animate scripts and my own scripts. And to make things easier, I created now a library that you can bring into the workflow. You start your project in Adobe Edge, and you import the library, and then you're free to do whatever you want. And that's the thing I'm going to show you today: how to integrate Adobe Edge Animate and Caspar CG. So let's get started. First of all, I could tell you something about my development environment here. I'm recording this screencast with iMac, and I'm doing all the editing here on iMac. And to run the Caspar CG, I have a MacBook Pro here, just right here beside me. You can't see it, but it's there. And there's a Windows 7 in a boot camp, and it's running the latest daily build actually at the moment from Caspar CG in full screen on the screen consumer. You can use the latest release build, it should work fine, but I'm just tried the latest daily build and it's working fine as well. So there's also I made a network sharing for the templates folder, or actually the whole Caspar CG folder, but that I can access the templates folder from my iMac. And then there's also a little web server. I think it's what was it called? I can't remember, but it's actually just a tiny web server package that's running Apache and MySQL databases and things like that in one click executable. So it's pretty neat to have there. And I've now set it the document root to be the templates folder. It can be set up any way you like. For this purpose, demo purposes, I have shared the templates folder for the actual web server. But okay, so what we are gonna do, we need some kind of practical example, and because I don't like to tell things in theory, I like to show them in practice. And as you might know, at the moment there's an Ice Hockey World Championships going on in Czech Republic, and ice hockey is a pretty common here in Finland, and it's probably the easiest TV graphics program to show you. And because there's always been this rivalry between Finnish and Swedish, if we go back in time all the way to year 1995. Some of you might remember that there was actually a World Championships then, and Finland won first time ever this World Championships. And the final game was between Finland and Sweden, and we won it by 41. And let's just...
Kurri on luottanut samoihin pelaajiin ja aiheesta. Ja näette hänen ilmeestään, että tämä on Kurren elämän suurin päivä. Nitroja ei tarvita, nämä ovat terveitä miehiä. Nitroja tarvitaan ihan moniin muihin paikkoihin, kun Schönin ottaa vielä kiekon. Ja ruotsalaiset lähtevät viimeiseen hyökkäykseen, epätoivoiseen hyökkäykseen, joka Summanen katkaisee ja pistää kiekon päätyyn. Stillman ja Schönin, jotka siis ovat pelanneet käytännössä koko kolmannen erän Ruotsin puolustuksessa, vielä lähtevät yrittämään ratkaisua. Stillman sieltä yksin tulee, Virta niittaa hänet irti kiekosta ja Summanen lyö kiekon Stillmanille uudelleen. Niemiselle keskialueelle yksi yhtä vastaan tilanne ja Nieminen ottaa löysät pois. Ottaa palon mukaansa hyökkäykseen, palo menee maalin eteen. Summanen on mukana hyökkäyksessä, Alfredsson. Jonas Bergqvist keskialueella vapaana, vajaa puoli minuuttia jäljellä. Alfredsson jättää kiekon ja Ruotsi tulee vielä. Ja veteli yltyy. Ei kuulu Sverige, vaan kuuluu Suomi. Sekunnit kuluvat. Olsson. Suomi on maailmanmestari. Ruotsi vielä yrittää. Myllys torjuu. Liput liehuvat. Globen huutaa. Suomi voittaa maailmanmestaruuden. Suomi ottaa MM-kultaa. Se on siinä! Se on siinä! 4-1. Suomen historian ensimmäinen MM-kulta on varmistunut. Ja katsokaa tätä meteliä. Katsokaa tätä rypälettä, mikä on syntynyt Suomen maalille. Suomi on maailmanmestari. Suomi voittaa.
Okay, here's our project. Let's remake this. Normal ice hockey graphics. Okay, enough of that. It was just something funny to actually watch again. All right, so let's start with Photoshop. And to save some time, I have actually made here, bring in a little background, and also you can easily use the title save guides here if you want. It's good to have them there when you're doing projects. But then I have just created a little parts for the graphics, and this is just the demo project, so it might look something like this example. And from this project, from this state, I've actually just split the graphics into own elements or images, PNG images like this. Okay, we don't need anymore. And I've saved these as a transparent PNG files. Pretty normal procedure. Okay, then what? Um, Before we do that, it's pretty boring. I know. We could add there something, little animation as well. But let's not jump in time. Let's do that later on. Okay. So now we have the images. So we are pretty much good to start uh, building our project in Edge Animate. So let's bring up the program and we create a new project. I'm not gonna go through all the features in Edge Animate. That's something that you need to learn here by yourself. I'm just showing the things that are important to know when you're working with Caspar CG. First of all, my Caspar CG on the laptop is now running in 1280 720 mode, just to keep things running smoothly. But you can do full HD or whatever you want. But because that's our project size, I'm gonna resize this project to match that 720 like so. And the main thing to remember is to get rid of the background. Otherwise, it's going to block all the graphics that you have underneath in Caspar. So we do that by clicking here. Sorry, not that one. Here, and we do the alpha down and actually bring the color down to black as well. But I think the alpha is enough. Okay. So now we have transparent background and 1280 720 project. Okay, now if we want, we could actually import the first assets here, and one thing is to bring example the background. If you want to use that as your guide, well, let's leave it there. It helps to actually see, and I can show you a little tricks about that background as well. Then we import the little parts that I made. I've saved them as left, right, middle, and top PNGs, and you can see them here in the library at the moment after the import. And let's just drag them around so you can see them. Here they are. And because I split the graphics into multiple little parts, just in case if I want to animate some of them later on and make things moving and so on. So it's much easier now, and it also it helps to organize and tweak things. So that's the reason. But okay, let's rebuild it. So we take the top part. Let's center it up there. One thing I love in basically all the Adobe products has this great snapping that shows you if you want to send the things and relate it to each other, things like that. So let's find the center part. It's there. Then drag and drop with the shift. Okay, it's there. Okay, it should go down. So we take the middle and put it behind the top, like that. Then we take this part, something like this. Yeah. Okay, let's bring that down as well. How's it looking? Click, and you can use the arrow keys to nudge. Okay, pretty good. And then I just use this, something like that. Yeah, and then we move it here, bring it down like that. something like that. Okay, it doesn't need to be perfect right now because this is just an example. You get the idea. Okay, here it is. Pretty easy. And what's next? We probably need to have some information to be shown. And what we're gonna show? Okay, we're gonna show clock. With the text tool, I'm gonna just put here my fancy little clock. I'm gonna center it right here. Yeah, fine. And then I also make it a little bit bigger, maybe. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, um, that's something that you do quite often, but you can always let's see where it is. You can lock the background, so you can select it. Let's center that. Yes, and then we bring this and center the text. Okay, cool. A little bit down. Perfect. There is clock. Um, then we need example first period text. Let's put that up there. Also bring that something like that there. It's centered. Yep, like that. And then the magic numbers. Let's put that there. Also make it a little bit wider. I could use there, there. Something like that. Okay, we can change the size of things if you want. Then we can duplicate it, put it right there. Looks pretty good. And let's change that to 1. And we can just double check that if we are saying that we had 10 goals, it still fits there. Okay, and then it's just fine tuning how you want. Okay, but it was 4. Let's change that color to white and use a shadow. Okay, better. Yes. One thing to note, if when you're animating things in Adobe Edge, you can actually, if you're doing the animation in Adobe Edge, you can use, the element can have filters. But if you're animating it later on, example by using the Green Shock library that I'm going to show you, then I don't recommend using filters because there's a little bit of, or actually a major problems with rendering. The elements go disappearing and flickering and things like that. But the shadow is okay, the main shadow here, not the filter shadow. So, but if the elements are staying in one place, maybe fading in and out, then you can use filters. That's fine. But the shadow is working at the moment properly. Okay, and then let's just bring in more images because we need some flags, obviously. Let's bring in 2 flags, and actually let's bring only one. I show you one little nice trick in Adobe Edge. Let's just scale this down, something like that, and put it like up here. Okay, that's good. That's the home. And Let's change the looks a little bit. We can use corners. Okay, that's nice. And also the shadow on. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, we leave it like that. And now we just duplicate it and move it on the other side like that. And now we need to change the actual image, and if you click it you can see here image is Finland flag now, and here's the change image source. um, when you click here it shows you all the assets in library, and there you can choose the Sweden. If you haven't imported yet, let's demonstrate. um, how it's gonna actually get rid of that. Okay, if you don't have it there, then you need to import it. It imports it into the stage here. Just delete it, and then it's in your library. Um, and then you can find it here. Okay, so we click here on the Sweden flag, and boom, it keeps all the styling, the corners and the shadows, just changes the background image. Um, the difference between this image is that it's actually a div with a background image. It's not like an image HTML tag, and that's good to know when we are doing our own coding, but I'll get back to that later on. Okay, so now we have basically all the elements that we need. We have the top title saying first period, um, the clock, the scores, and the flags. Okay, to keep things simple, I want to group these things, or actually not group them, I want to create symbols. And let's start with the top bar. We're going to choose the top, and with that goes all the elements that are in it on top of it. Um, Actually, let's do one thing first. Let's rename these so we can know what is what. This one is going to be, let's see, title. This one is going to be clock. This one is going to be home score. This one is going to be visitor score. And this one is going to be home flag. And this one is going to be visitor flag. Straightforward. Okay, so now we have the proper names here as well. And now let's do the symbols. We take the, actually we could change these names as well. Maybe no, okay, not yet. Let's change the top, and with that goes let's see, top title. I'm using the command button to make a multiple selections. So top title, and then home flag and visitor flag. Okay, so those are all the elements in that top part. Then we go to modify and convert to symbol. It's gonna ask the name, and I say here top bar. Autoblade timeline, you can leave it on, it doesn't matter at the moment, and boom. Now you only have one symbol here that contains all those elements. And if you don't know what symbols are, you can always just double click the symbol, and as you can see, now you can see the elements inside that. So it's like a grouping, but, and well, basically it's like the animation clips or whatever they are called in Flash. It's the same thing. They have their own timelines, and you can run the animations inside symbols and then bring the symbol into the main stage and animate it more there if you want. Okay, let's continue. Let's take the home score and make a symbol with the left part like that. Convert to symbol. This is left bar like that, and then the right and visitor score. Convert to symbol. That's right bar. I'm trying to do this fast as possible because we have a lot of things to do yet. Clock and the middle are the same. Convert to symbol, and this is, let's say, middle bar. Okay, that's fine. All right, now you probably notice something. The layering or the order of the layers is pretty much fucked up. Well, you can try to do it like here. So let's see, what's the right bar should be underneath the middle bar, and left bar also. You can also do it by clicking here and arrange center back, but drag and dropping is usually I've noticed this sometimes when you do that ordering here by dragging the elements in the elements view, it still doesn't change the order. But when you're doing it here by clicking the element and arranging center back, then it's actually doing it. So if this doesn't work, try this one. But they should be the same thing. Okay, now we have these three, actually 4 bars, and we could animate them or do whatever we want. I can show you an easy way of animating, let's say top bar. Well, we could actually group them and then animate the whole thing at one. But I just show you that if we take the left bar example here and we want to animate it on the X, so I'll put a keyframe here and I'm just, let's see, put it there, and here I make a new keyframe where it's underneath, and there you go. Now you have a nice animation. And let's do the same. Let's go here, the right bar, let's make a keyframe, actually I need to select it first there. Let's make a keyframe, and then I just animate it down there. Okay, now you get a nice animation where the scores are coming up. And if you want to preview this, command enter, and it opens up in a browser and you see how it works. Okay, that's cool. And fine for now. Now, because we are doing a template for Caspar CG, we probably want to take the autoplay off in the project. And that means when you preview it or load it, nothing happens. Or what's in the first frame on the timeline will show up, but it doesn't start playing the timeline, so we can't see the animation either. That's fine for now. Now what we could do, we could actually move these animations into 2 seconds. So like that. So now, because we don't have autoplay on, we preview, nothing happens. And if you turn the autoplay on, it waits 3 seconds and then they come there. Okay, so it's working, but we turn the autoplay off for now because we want to control this animation from the Caspar CG. And to do that, we could actually mark this as let's see, and then we want an outro as well. Maybe, do we? Yes, we want. Okay, let's add here timeline label, and let's call this next. Now we have a label called next in the first keyframe where the animation starts, and we have autoplay off, so when we load this template into Caspar, it's gonna stick in the first frame, and when we trigger it to go to the next, we can slide in the results or the scores. Okay, and I show you how to do that just in a minute. Okay, that's pretty much that. Do we need something else? Yes, we do. We want some animated images or animations that are not done in here in Adobe Edge. There's 2 ways of doing. It supports animated GIFs and sprite sheets. And the difference between sprite sheets and animated GIFs is that you can't control the animation or the playback of animated GIF. When it's visible, it's gonna play on loop and with that speed that it's created, and you can hide it and you can move it, but that's all. You can't stop it and then or pause it and then start running it again. That's not possible. But with sprite sheet animations, you can do that. They work just like the symbol or the timeline or symbols containing timeline. And you can, via script, you can pause, play, resume playback. You can set the speed, play reverse, and things like that. So there are much more controllable and convenient to do. So, first of all, I show you, let's import. What we need in ice hockey is always a cheerleader, of course. Okay, here we have a really good cheerleader, Mr. Banana, and it's an animated GIF. And as you can see, it's just plays and plays and plays, and you don't have anything related to its playback. Well, of course, you can control it just like any other graphical element. You can put it wherever you want. Actually, let's see if we can put it somewhere. Okay, it could dance here. No, it's here. We want it here. Okay. There's our cheerleader, and it's an animated GIF. So when we preview, it's playing and it's playing and it's playing. As long as it's visible, we can't do anything about the playback. Well, that's sometimes okay, and if you have a spinning coin or a logo or things like that, then animated GIF is a good option for that. But we want more control. And how we can get that with the sprite sheets, as I said. I go into After Effects and I show you what I've created already. This is just to save some time. I brought up the layout here as a still image because I'm just using it as a reference, and then I've created a little lens flare with optical flares plugin, and I've animated just bouncing there. Okay, That's good. Um, the cropping might be a little bit too tight, but I don't actually care that. This is just to show you how to do things. So I'm not gonna bother making everything a pixel perfect or things like that. But here you can see I've animated the position and it looks fine for me for now. So we need to create a sprite sheet from this. And how to do that? Okay, first of all, we get rid of the background because we don't need that, or we don't want that because we might be animating it on Edge and we only want the flare. So now we have the flare. It's 6 seconds animation, pretty good. And there isn't actually an straight away easy way of doing sprite sheets in Adobe After Effects, but there's a tool or a helper called Sheethoff. This is a script for After Effects that you can get from AA Scripts and AA Plugins site. Just grab the URL here. It's name your own price. You can pay anything you want, and I really hope that you support Matthias, the author of this plugin. It's really great and it's really gonna help your life. And there's a installation user guide, how to use it, and I have it here. So basically, when everything is set up, you go into, let's see, there, you open up the plugin, and well, it supports saving JSON files if you have multiple animations or things like that. But we only need to save the sprite sheet as a PNG, and that's all. If somebody doesn't know what sprite sheet is, I'm gonna show you quickly. Here, this is sprite sheet. It's basically a series of images, or every frame of the animation is laid out side by side in columns and rows. And that way you can get a short or long animation in one still image. And that's it. You can have multiple different animations in one sheet, and then you can just tell the program what rows and columns are used in what animation. But now we are just gonna create one single animation where this flare is just bouncing up. So everything's set up. We click Save Sprite Sheet. It's gonna ask when we want to save it. I'm gonna create a new folder here saying flare, flare, flare sprite sheet, like this. And I'm gonna save it. It's gonna render. We hear the noise and it's done. Okay, so what we get, if I go in there and I show you, we have this kind of file. And now we can just calculate how many rows and columns we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 columns, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So 12 by 13. Alright, then we go back to Edge Animate. I love that cheerleader. And then we go File and Import Sprite Sheet. And select the sprite sheet image. Okay, it goes into that folder because I've done this already once. And you can choose image file. Okay, we're gonna use the PNG, import, open, and there you go. Now you have a little bit options here, and I'm gonna run you through them. Let's just move this like this. Okay, we can scale because this is pretty big image. First of all, we're gonna set the number of rows. If I remember right, it was 13, and the number of column was 12. All right, let's zoom back in to see. Yes, that was correct. We have one flare position at each of these columns or cells, as you might say. Then in the trimming options, we didn't actually use any padding or margins, so we need to get rid of these. We set everything into 0. The Zeta doesn't actually do or put any margins. It renders out exactly the frame and lays them out in columns and rows. So here, put everything into 0, and as you can see, everything lays out perfectly. Yes, everything should be fine. And then we want to change the frame rate here because the project is in After Effects done in 25 frames. We put the same here, and then we can click preview, and there you go. You can see how the animation goes. Yes, okay, there's a couple of blank frames, and the reason for that is, well, I can show you. The reason is this. These are the blank frames because it doesn't, the frame length of the animation is not dividable by 2, I think. But still, you see the empty frames there, but we get rid of them, and I show you how. Okay, trimming is fine. It's playing back. We stop the animation and click import. Nothing happens in the viewport, but in the symbols we can see. We have here flare sprite sheet symbol 1. Okay, first of all, let's rename this flare animation. And oh, sorry. And then we just drag it in into the viewport, and there you go. All right, how to get rid of those blank frames? Okay, here you can see it's just like a normal symbol. So we can double click it so it opens up, and here you can see every frame of the animation, and somewhere here it should actually have a blank frames. Ding, 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 ding. All right, so what we do, we select those frames and delete them. Okay, we still got one. Let's get that. All right, so that's done. We can go back and now let's put this into the right place. And I want to put this actually, well, we can put it on the main stage or like this. And then it's gonna go over everything. Yeah, let's do it like that this time. So let's find the center. It's probably something like that. We put it up. We want to go there, and we can check it out here. Yeah, it's nice. Almost perfect. It's a little bit off actually. It should be like, I think like this. Okay, it goes way. Okay, sorry, I'm doing an position animation here, and I don't want to do that, so we make sure that when we are moving the flare animation, we do it in the first frame. Okay, okay, now it's pretty good. Okay, and let's preview. There it goes. But there's a problem. It doesn't loop. At the moment we want it to loop, so how to fix that? We go into the flare animation and into the last keyframe, or actually we go like there, and we add a script or trigger, as in Adobe Edge it says them. Here we could actually do it here, play flare animation and do, but we're gonna actually write it. We're gonna write simplay 0. That means that when this trigger or the playhead is hit into this trigger, it's gonna jump back into the frame or time 0 and start playing from there. Okay, that's fine. Close it, and now we have that trigger at the last frame. And let's preview. And now it loops. How cool. Okay. I don't want that flare to be running there all the time. Okay, so and I want to modify it a little bit. First of all, in the first frame, I want to animate the opacity so that it's 0. Then it comes up like that, goes there, there, and somewhere here, and a keyframe, and at the end it should be back to 0. Okay, maybe a little bit earlier, like that. Okay, we could also do the scaling and things like that if you want, but this is enough. Okay, so quick preview. This it, yeah, much better. One time and fade out. Okay, perfect. All right. And because we have this fade out thing now, I get rid of that looping because I want to trigger this from the script to run it once. So I just showed you, if you need to loop it, do a trigger with simplay 0, and that's it. All right, now we have that. Now it's the time to actually bring in the Caspar stuff. But as you can see, it's really easy and straightforward workflow to build the graphics. You can do all sort of things, animations and things like that, transforms, origins, rotations, anything you need. Alright, so first of all, before we continue, let's get rid of the background, or this background. Background is in the project is already transparent, but we want this guide image not to be showing. And the easy way to do that is, let's unlock it. Let's go to the first frame and put it always off or off. Now it's gone, and you can easily bring it back in if you need by just clicking the keyframe there. If you click here, the set element visibility, like that, and you preview, it's back in there. So that's not enough. What you need to do is actually set the display keyframe to off. This is the eye icon only sets the visibility in the editor, so it's not going to affect the template when it's used in Caspar. Alright, so I think we're good to go and continue with the Caspar integration. Okay, so what to do? We have these symbols now set up. Everything is named correctly. We have symbol called top bar. If we go into top bar symbol, there we have okay, now we went to the flare animation. If we go into the top bar, there we have elements called visitor flag, home flag, title, and top. And that's the background image, but the title is thing that we actually want to change in Caspar CG and when we run the graphics. Okay, so we need to save this thing. We go to file, save as, and I'm gonna go straight into the Caspar CG server templates folder. Now, you can use save in folder here. Let's say that this template is called scoreboard. Okay, if you leave the save in a folder on, it's gonna create a folder called scoreboard here in templates and then save the actual HTML file with the same name, scoreboard. So in client, in Caspar CG client, you can see scoreboard/scoreboard, and that's something that you probably don't want to do. So to change that, I'm going to create a folder here called hockey, create, and here use name scoreboard, save type HTML. We are not going to create any new folders. Click save. Let it save. For some reason my network is, well, it's over Wi-Fi and it's a little bit unstable. I don't know, it's maybe the new installation of Windows that's causing it, but it's gonna, okay, now it's saved. Alright, so let's check that folder. We go here into the templates, and there you can see it, the hockey folder, and there's a bunch of stuff here. You might notice that in Edge Animate I used the normal save. I didn't use any publish functions. That's because I noticed that there's actually no need to publish it. You can probably use the publishing, but there's no point for it. It only makes things complicated. So I'm not going to go through how to publish things here. Just use plain and normal save and save as. Because in the templates folder now, we have, let's see, we have a couple of, actually two files that Edge Animate creates and needs its own JavaScript and actions. These are the animations, the timeline animations, the triggers that you set and things like that. Then you have the HTML file, file that has a ending AN. That's the project that you can load anytime you want into the Edge Animate and continue working. You have this folder Edge includes. That's something that Edge needs. Don't change anything in there. Then you have the images that has all the images that you have imported into the project, and that's it. If you take a look at this HTML file, it's pretty easy and straightforward. The basic head tags, scripting for the Adobe Edge, and then the body. You might notice here these two commands: Adobe Edge runtime, start and end. Between those lines, don't change anything. You're gonna lose it. Every time you save the project in Edge, it's gonna rewrite this part, and if there's something, if you add here a script file, your own, and you continue editing in Edge and click save, it's gone. It's gonna be overwritten. So, how to add anything in this project, especially my library to talk with Caspar CG? Well, I show you. I have, let's see, here and here. I have prepared these files for you, and in the description of this YouTube video and in the Caspar forums where I posted this, you can find a link where to download these. But basically it contains two files: E2C libraries and E2C main. These are the main. The libraries contains all the functions and helper functions and things like that. Never change anything in there. Just use it as it is. The main thing, E2C main file, contains all your own scripting and functionality, and the libs folder contains all accessory libraries that you can use. Leave that as is. You can actually add here files if you want, and I'll show you how to do that just in a minute. But okay, so now we want to do the main thing that this whole thing is about: how to integrate Adobe Edge projects with Caspar CG. So we grab, actually before that, we go here into the templates folder, and we create a new folder. We create a folder called JS, and we copy these three things: the libraries folder and the JS files. We copy, we go into the JS folder and paste them here, and boom, there it is. You actually can, okay, I better explain. In Adobe Edge, you can actually add here, add script, and add files from a disk. If you click here, choose a file and import it here, it's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna create JS folder and import the files here, and it's gonna actually change its own JS file and add there a function that loads these two libraries in the HTML file when it's run, but it's fucked up at the moment. I tried it, and there's gonna be a lot of complications and the things are not gonna work. So don't do that, do it manually. That's the easiest way. I might actually get in to look at what's causing the problem and fix that, so you could actually do it inside here, importing two files, and but at the moment do it manually. It's not that hard to create a one folder called JS and import these two files and one folder in there. So now you have all the necessary files there. The last thing to do is actually add some manual code. And as you might guessed it, it is related to these two files here. And we're going to edit the HTML file. And as I said, if you add anything here, like so, it's going to be lost when you save the project. So don't put them here. The place where to put them is actually, I prefer to put them right behind the main div, the stage div. And make sure that the libraries is first and then the main. Alright, now we can save and we're good to go. Now, we made a manual change here. So if we go back to animate, you get this. File has been changed. Scoreboard HTML was changed outside the Edge Animate. Do you want to reload the composition? You will lose any unsaved changes. Answer always yes. If you answer no, you're gonna lose those two lines that you just added. So always when you get this, answer yes. So now the editor is workable again. We can do something here, whatever we want. Let's move this cheerleader down a little bit. We click save, and this file doesn't change. I can actually show you if we let's do and copy this here like so. We save it, we go back. Okay, again the changes, yes, okay, and then we move this guy up, click save, and we go back to the scoreboard HTML. As you can see, those two lines are gone, but these are back here, still here, so add them after the stage div. Alright, so now we have our integration libraries set up, and we can start looking at what we can do with them. So let's open up. I can show you Sublime and open Sublime. Alright, so the libraries. You can see the version here. Don't change anything here. The order is crucial. There is comments, you can check what is here, but don't change things. You're gonna just mess things up. However, if you need to use your own animation libraries, if you don't want to use GreenShock, I can show you how to add that, because the library loading functions are here. Here is import and load external libraries like GreenShock, animation library, and so on. Here is import part. So as you can see, underscore the JS / libs gasp, and there's a Tweedmax, scroll the book, scroll to plugin, kinetic color props, blah blah blah, moment library, and socket.ios. If you need to add your own, just copy it into the libs folder and add the line here with the proper file name of the library that you need to load. That's all. But don't change anything else. Don't change any orders or anything. It's just gonna give you a bad day. Alright, that's the libraries file. We don't want to mess with that. No, I don't want to save any changes. The main file. This is the heart and the core of everything. Version number up there. Big thanks. There is actually some of the codes. Thomas Linden. I picked that up from the Caspar forums and used that. Kibras had that library import file. I had to make a little tweaks to get it working with Caspar. Now it works. Big thanks to those guys. And here you can also see what libraries are at the moment included there. So you have the latest jQuery, GreenSock, and all the plugins for it. The moment.js for times and dates, and the socket.io for WebSockets. I'm gonna update this and add more libraries that I see that if they have any kind of value when making graphics, then I might import and add some more helper functions and helper libraries in there. But these are the basic ones at the moment that are more than enough. Alright, then we have the settings part. And it's quite easy. The first one says debug buttons. You can set this to true or false. And now I'm gonna actually show. Let's open up the browser and these are the previews. I don't want to use those. But now here in Edge Animate, when I preview, you can see that it shows only the animation. Now if we change the debug buttons to true, we save this, we go back to the Edge Animate and we preview, boom. You're gonna get this underneath the composition. You got the basic, you got the play, next, stop, remove, and invoke, and update. So this is why if you are working and want to test things without a working server, you can test and check the animations in your browser. The outro animations, the updating, and things like that. You can invoke commands here, giving the function names of the JavaScript function names here, and just invoke it and it will be run. The play, next, stop, and so on. So that's the update. And when you're actually using the graphics, remember to change this to false, because the buttons will be shown in the Caspar as well, and you get those annoying scroll bars because the debug buttons are underneath the actual stage. Alright, we have settings for using external data. We can turn that on and off. What kind of data, where we get the data, JSONP function here, client data. I will go through these in a moment. You got WebSocket settings and you have data mapping settings. Then you got the basic Caspar functions here. This is not called play like it's in normal things. It's now renamed to play CG and leave that. Don't change this to anything. Actually, don't change anything you don't know what it's going to do. If it's here, just leave it like it. Here it says insert code here. After that, you can do your own thing, but don't change any function names or anything like that. Alright, so here, play. It's going to be run when Caspar client tells or sends the play command to the template. And here it says main stage play. That means that in Edge we set the stage to be autoplay no or false. This makes it to play. So if you have any animations, the timeline starts going on and you can see it. Here in stop we have as a default here main stage play, outro, and true. The main stage is my own function that points to the main timeline. So if we want to have an outro animation, in our template, we could just, let's see, go here and we add a label called outro, just like in Flash. When we have that label there, I save this project. In here, when the client sends the stop command, it's gonna jump into the label outro and start playing from there. Pretty straightforward. Same thing with the next. Main stage, play, and the label named next. So here we have a label called next. So when we load or play the template and trigger next command, it will jump into this. It will jump into this 2-second point and start playing from here. If you want to stop the timeline anytime or do jumping with the code, learn how to use the triggers, because you can always insert here trigger, symbol, stop, save it. Then if you have autoplay on, or when you hit the play, you could have an animation, and when it comes here it stops, and when you click next it jumps here and starts playing, and so on. So that's pretty easy to make a logic in the timeline as well. The Adobe has a great JavaScript API that you should read out. Here you can find all the details, what you can do, getting symbols. I come these later on. And also it's really straightforward when you're creating the triggers. You have this. You can, example, hide on the stage. Let's see, cheerleader. You choose, press enter, and there you go. You have a code that hides the element cheerleader. So when the playhead comes into this time, in 1 second, it's gonna run this script that's gonna find the cheerleader symbol and hide it. So it's really easy to add functions like that. All right, let's continue. So we have the play, stop, next, and then we have the update. There's 2 lines, parse Caspar and data insert. Don't remove as it says. Those are necessary for many things to actually work here. And after that, again, insert code here, and there you can add your own functions or logic if you want. There's now a little socket functions commented out. We will come back to those later on. And then there's the remove and invoke. The invoke is also now, as you can see, it's using the eval function. So when you're sending a function name as invoke, the JavaScript function name as invoke command, it will run that function. Then there's a part for your own custom functions to be used in timeline example, and here we have example for updating the clock and a little test function, but we will come back to that just in a minute. All right, so when actually, as you can see, we didn't change anything. Everything is false now, no buttons or anything. So I can just actually save this just in case, and let's see how it works. So we go to Caspar client. Here you can see I have my MacBook Pro here as one server. The IP address, it should be up and running, and I should have the preview window here as well, so it's not showing anything. Right? I just refresh the library and boom, there you go. Now you see the hockey underscore of slash scoreboard. Don't mind the socket client. It's actually an HTML file that is located in the templates folder, but that's for demo purposes, and I will use that and show it to you later on. We use it in a normal browser, not in Caspar, but it's because the web server is now sharing the document root in the templates folder. It's showing up here as well, so don't mind that. All right, just bear me 1 second. My throat is killing me. Okay, so um, we want to use some background so we can see that the transparency is working. So let's bring up the A and B clip here and let's just play it. And yes, the preview is working and we have the video clip playing as well. The network might be a little bit laggy now, but it should be fine. Alright, we don't loop it or anything, we just need a stable background. Then go to the templates and get the scoreboard there. Now we don't have any data here. Let's just see that it runs. We load it and there it goes, and boom. Beautiful. As you can see, the flare runs once. Was it supposed to do that? Okay, yes, we want to load. Let's just double check what we did. Yes, um, we don't have autoplay on. So we don't see anything else. We don't see the scores here, but in the first frame, I think, yeah, because the flare animation is here in the first frame. That's why we saw it once. So, okay, so in the first keyframe for the flare animation, it's now off because we're gonna use a script to trigger that on. All right, save. Everything's updated. Now clear and load. There it is. No flare animation or anything. Then if we hit play, nothing happens. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. There's a delay between them because the live preview. But now the play actually starts the timeline animation and plays it. And the reason for that is because we have main stage play here. Okay, now what if we want to change the top title? That's easy. We add data and it was title. Let's see, and the value we want to see here. Game is on. Okay. Now we send update. Nothing happens. Why is that? Go to Edge Animate, and as you can see, we have the title there. It's in top bar. We open that up. We check the title. It's title. Okay, element name is title. Yes, that's correct, but it's inside the top bar. So how we can access that? Easily. If the title would be in the main stage here, not inside a symbol, we could use the title as a plain text. But now, because it's inside the top bar, we need to change the key to be top bar underscore title. Game is on. Okay. Now we send update. Game is on. So that's the easiest way to actually change the data inside elements and symbols. So if it's a symbol, if the element is inside a symbol, always put the first name, the symbol name, and then underscore, and then the element name. So same thing. We want to change the home score. If I remember right, it's left bar underscore home score, and we add their value of 6. Again, update, and it's 6. Okay, and this works if you clear everything out. We have the data set, we load. Okay, the title changed already. Then we hit play. Now we should see 6.1. There it goes. Works like a charm. And the same goes, of course, for the clock, but we're gonna show a different thing for that. Okay, so that's how you access and change data. What if we want to change, let's say, the flag here? Okay, the thing is, now it's an image or a div that uses a background image. So I'm probably gonna do their little helper function for that as well. So now if you need to change images from here or from any external data source, it's easiest to have an empty div or text element or anything like that, and then pass a URL or image HTML tag into that. But I will make it easier to change images as well. So you can have all these fancy things in here, the shadows and things like that. But probably, let's see if I can quickly demonstrate. If we go the images, Google, we find something like flag, something like a Finnish flag there. We want a little small flag. Okay, flag icon, something like this. Okay, we copy image URL. I don't know where it's coming from. Icon archive. Okay. We go to the client, and now we want. Let's use this title here, just to demonstrate. So here we could actually just paste, not all this, but we could write an image source tag like this and paste the URL in there. And now if we update it, the div is going to be replaced, or the content of the div, the title is going to be replaced with that image. And of course you can add here width is 30, height is 30. Okay, and update like that. That's one way, but I will make a function for that as well and make it easier. But that's how you do it right now. This is only a version 0.0, so it's not finished yet. There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff. Alright, so let's get the title back there and update. Alright, now we want something done from the script. So let's make the time running, and let's see, custom functions. The clock is good example how to use custom functions, and now we just want to use a local time for this demo purpose. So here we have the normal jQuery run on load, or the onload function, where we can add our own stuff, and here we create a normal timer with set interval, function update clock, and every second. So every second when the template is loaded, it starts the timer. Every second it's gonna call update clock function, which is right here. And here we're gonna use a simple helper function that I created for you. It's called update data. It takes three parameters. The first one is either true or false, depending on what kind of object we are or element we are updating. If it's true, it means that we are trying to access an Edge Animate element. So anything that you created in Edge Animate. If it's false, it's trying to find a normal HTML DOM element that you have created yourself manually. Then it's gonna take the ID of the element, and now because we are changing edge element, we are using the same method of naming, so we are accessing the middle bar. What's it called, middle bar? I have to double check that. Yes, middle bar. And in the middle bar we have, let's double check, open that up. There we have a clock. Yes. All right. So back in the script, middle bar underscore clock, and then the value, and this time we are using the moment helper script, and we are just passing the current time with this format, hours, minutes, and seconds. All right. So let's save that. Let's go into the Caspar, clear everything, load, and there you go. Every second it updates the clock label with the current time. All right, that was easy. Then what? All right, what if we want to use an WebSockets? Okay, let's not go in there yet. Let's go with the mapping. That's probably one of the basic. Yeah, it's easier to go that first because it's the basic functions that you probably use quite a lot more often than WebSockets. So what is data mapping? Data mapping is it makes your life easier because now we can use any kind of naming here. Let's say that, let's actually change some names. Let's go to the top bar. Okay. Well, yeah. Let's do it this way. We have this top bar, and we have the title inside here. Okay. That's fine. We go here, and if we want to change it, we need to use the naming convention top bar underscore title first period. All right. What if we don't want to use it? We want to call it just period. All right. Now if we update it, actually let's change this to second period. Now if we update, nothing happens because it can't find the element named period. Okay. This is a case where the mapping actually comes easy or handy. We can add here normal name or key and value pairs, where the first one is the data name that we are going to use, and at this time we want to use period, and we want to map that into top bar and title. Okay, now we have that active. We go and save this, and actually we need to reload this template because we made changes in the code. All right, and as you can see right away, the period, second period, is updated, even though we don't have a text field or element that is called period, but the mapping is handling that now for you. So if you have an external data source, you're getting results or statistics or anything, from JSON, XML, or anything like that, and you don't want to rename those elements in your template with the same names as the data is coming in, then you can use that active mapping and just put here anything you like player name is actually player card profile and name field. Much more convenient to have the JSON to have a player name field, and then your graphic template can have player card symbol with a symbol called profile, and under there is just the name field where the data should go. So the mapping is taking care of that for you now. All right. So that's active mapping, really handy tool. Then what? All right. Let's go with the external data. So, um, first of all, you need to turn it on. We want to use external data. Yes, that's true. Then, if you turn external data on, you still be able to use the normal template data here as well. They are combined, so make sure that at the moment they are combined, so make sure that you don't have here anything that might get overridden or conflict or anything like that. But you can have here some of the data, and then external data brings more data, and they are combined and then shown to you or updated into the template. All right, so it's set to true. Then we need to change or decide what kind of external data type we are using. We can use XML, JSON, or JSON-P. And well, let's go and try the XML first. Let's put there XML. Then it's gonna ask you, or you can set the external URL where you get that data. At this time, because as I said, I have web browser running on my MacBook. I put the IP there. Then I need to change. Oh fuck! Did I actually? Sorry. Okay, let's continue. I had to make a little tweaks on the files because I deleted my external data example files, so I had to recreate them so I can show you how it works. But now they are working and we're good to continue with the external data. So as I was saying, you need to first turn the use external data variable to true, and then change the data type to what you want to use. So let's begin with XML here. Then you give the URL for the server where you get that data, and in this case I'm using the same web server that's running on the Caspar CG server, so the IP is correct. And then I'm gonna use a PHP script running there that's gonna give us an XML file. So I change here XML and PHP. Because we are using XML, the JSON callback doesn't have anything to do with that, and the client data as external parameters can be false. Now I show you it with the JSON how it works. Alright, so we are good to go, and if you want to see, I can show you. Let's save this first. I'm gonna show you the XML PHP here. So this is what's gonna get that. We are setting the access control allow origin here, and we are sending the same format as the client. So the template data format is the XML format here. We're setting the left bar, right bar, and the period here is gonna be final period. As you can see, we are using the mapping here as well. So if the data has only period, then we need to use that period goes into top bar title. So that mapping works same way for the external data as well. All right, so we should get final period and 11.0 for the scores. So let's go here and load template, and there it is, final period. The clock is running, we hit the play to show the scores, and 11.0, it works. So we get data from external source, and as you can see, we have the period set here as well, second period. So the XML data is overriding that as well. The left bar home score is set here 6, and the external data overrides it to 11. Okay, so XML is working. What about the rest? Easy. JSON. We change the URL to JSON PHP, and same thing. Save. Let's open up the JSON PHP. Same thing. Headers. JSON string. We echo it out, and that's it. I get to this part just in a second. So we should get the title from JSON. All right, clear and load, and there it is, title from JSON. And let's show the clock as well, or the scores. There should be 6 and 1 because we didn't pass those in. All right, now the fun part. What is that client data as external parameters? That means if we turn it on, we turn it true, that means that it passes the Caspar client data to this PHP script as get parameters. So in here we can actually get rid of these, and we add here example switch and make it 0 for now. Okay, so when we get the data from external URL, if this is true, it's gonna pass the switch, because it's here, the client data, as we might say. It passes it as a get parameter to this PHP. So here in JSON, we can make things like this. If our get parameter switch is 1, we return this JSON. If it's 2, we return this JSON. If it's 3, this. Otherwise, it's gonna say just title from JSON. All right, let's try that. Save this thing and clear. So now the switch is 0, so we should get title from JSON. That's correct. All right. If we change switch to 1 and update, all right, first period. Now change it to 2 and update. Second period and 3, update, third period. All right, so that's the passing the client data as external parameters. Pretty handy. And then the last one is obviously JSON P, and This time it's just gonna be not a PHP file, but it's gonna be .jsonp file, and the callback function name here is data. Okay, oh sorry, we don't want to pass anything there, right? We save, and if we take a look at the actual JSONP file, okay, I need to open up like this, Sublime Text open. Here you can see that its data function is the callback. There's a JSONP, data is a period, left bar 99, and the visitor score 22. Alright, clear and load. JSONP data is the title, and we run it, and we should see those massive numbers in the scores 99 and 22. It works. Alright, so that's how you use external data. Choose the format, where you get it, pass parameters if you need, and that's it. For the XML, I probably gonna do a little helper script as well, that you can actually, if the XML is fetched from, let's say, a news service or anything like that, and well, obviously the template is not the same as the Caspar uses, the template data format, so that you could actually map things there as well. So kind of like active mapping, but for XML. That's on my to-do list, so you can easily use those. Then the last thing is the WebSockets. And for WebSockets, let's just make these disabled like that. Alright, so for WebSockets, it's easy. Just turn it on, and where is your WebSocket server running? Okay, I have here actually on my iMac, I have actually I can show it to you here. Pretty easy, simple WebSocket server. It's using Socket.io for that. Basically, it starts listening connections. It has a counter value of 0, and then it's starting a normal set interval that's every second counts up, and if it reaches 100, it's gonna set the counter value back to 0 and start over again. Then there's also if the counter value hits 50, it's gonna emit out a test message, and otherwise, or every time, actually once in a second, it's gonna emit a time message with data value counter with the counter value. So this could be example be a clock server or scoreboard on the that handles the scoreboard in the ice hockey hall or arena and things like that. Basic emitting messages. Okay, so let's turn it on. It's gonna ask my password, and there it is. So my WebSocket server is now up and running. And what do we need to do in here if we want to get that counter? Easy. So WebSocket service is set to true, and the address is my iMac address here. Then we want to enable here in update. We want to get, every time we get the time message, we want to update data. Yes. Left bar, sure, why not, home score, and we get the data socket, and it was the counter data there that contains the counter. Alright, that's it. save. Let's go here, clear, reset. All right, clock is, and there we go. It's counting up. Every second the server emits the time function or the time message with the counter. All right. Then we have that 50. When the counter hits 50, it could do something else. And what's that? Okay, maybe we want to have some sort of animation in specific time or trigger something else. And let's see if it actually goes 99 and 0. Yes, it works. All right, so here, every time we get test message from the server, let's double check. Yes, when it hits 50, it emits test without any data. All right, that's good. Then we want to do something. Okay, we want to run our own function, and we call it, okay, let's not call it test, let's call it test function example. All right, that's good. And here we have that test. Let's just change the name. I like it. Function. Little typo there. Okay, test function. All right. Here, first of all, here's a little stuff commented out now, and I want to show you the basic of manual animation. What you can do with the GreenSock library example, or with any animation library. So you can use with the normal jQuery. If you want to change, you can use the update data function that I created. It's easy. But here you can use jQuery, just pointing out to the main states, and then you use the Edge Animate API to get symbol called line. Okay, this could say example now. Get symbol is top bar, and then we get element inside that, which was the title, and that element's HTML is going to be changed to something here. Let's say here 50, we hit 50. All right, so now when the test function is run, it changes the title and blah. That's it. All right, let's try that out. Save, clear. It's cleared. All right, let's load and play. And now we have to wait. Okay, let's make it a little bit quicker. So I close this server and let's change that to something like 100 maybe. 100, yes. Let's restart that. All right. And there, as you can see, when we got the 50, the counter went to the 50, it sent it out a test message, emitted out, our script read it and changed the title. All right. Then that's one way. Okay, the update data function is the easiest way to do that, but this is the hardcore. Then you can obviously use jQuery effects to animate things. Here's the same thing. We get the main states, get the symbol, line, okay, that's say top bar, and then the get symbol element actually gets the main container of the element. So if you want to slide down here, example, everything that's inside, including the top bar symbol and everything included in there, you need to get the symbol element. All right, that's how you use jQuery effects. I don't use them that much. I use the CreenShock more often if I need to do a manual animation. And here's how you use the tween light functionality of the CreenShock, and more specifically we are gonna use the text animation plugin. And let's see, top bar, again get symbol, top bar, then the element name, it was title, and we're gonna, during 2 seconds, we gonna animate it into text period over with some easing. All right, let's try that. First of all, the switch is gonna, let's put it here, the period is gonna, oh, period is gonna say first period, like that. Okay, so when we play it, it's gonna say first period, the counter is running, and when we hit it 50, it's gonna animate it, hopefully, there, period over. How cool is that? Okay, so all the plugins for CreenShock should work okay. And here's some example how you could actually use timeline animations. Let's comment that out. How you can use timeline animations to move things. So if elements are hidden in the timeline, like here in the main stage, we have set the display off for the background. You could have an example logo here. It's in the first frame, it's off, and then you want to animate it in with the CreenShock somewhere. Then the safest way is to turn it on with the show. So here we could say top bar, get symbol element and show, just to make sure that before we animate it, it's visible to us. Well, now it's visible, the top bar, so I don't want to do that. But then we could just say make a new timeline and add a little animation in it. So we're gonna set the elements to a variable, just make things easier. So main states get symbol top bar, we get the containing the main container frame or div there with the symbol element. Then we create a new timeline max with 0 repeats. We add their tween light from, we actually change the opacity here from 0 to 1. Actually, well, yeah, let's make it backwards from 1 to 0, and we move it from, actually this could be 2, and we move it up 100. Okay, that should work. Save. We go here. Let's see, we clear it and we play it. And now when the counter hits 50, the top bar should fly away. Yep. So that's how you use CreenShock and Tween Light or Tween Max and its tweening animations. Pretty easy. So when you combine the Edge Animate's timeline animations and some manually coded animations, you can do pretty much anything you want. And the one thing just to notice, or just point out, if you do this test function, you could actually put here, let's actually take this one, this great animation that we created. Let's comment this out. Okay, so now when the counter hits 50, it doesn't actually do anything. Well, it could actually do that. But then we create here a new function. Let's name it top bar away. We create a function and we add the animation here. Okay, now what? Now we have a function that animates the top bar away. Alright, I copy the function name, that's saved. I go to Edge Animate. Yes, always I want to reload it. Alright, this is a quite fancy feature as well. Some of the scripts gets running here in the editor. Don't know why, but they do. Alright, and then here, example, when we hit play, the timeline goes, it comes to the next, which animates them. Those in, and actually we want, let's see, okay, in the outro, there, we want to be a couple of frames, seconds. It could actually do something and then animate those. Okay, let's do. When we are in the outro, we are going to animate middle bar, left bar, and the right bar. Yeah, those three. We're gonna add a keyframe, and we're gonna animate them out like that. So they fade out, and when they are fade out, here I'm gonna run a code which can be your function name, top bar away. Alright, so when we jump to outro, those bars fade away, and then we have animation made with the green sock library in the script that it's going to trigger here and it's going to animate that way. Alright, so let's change a little bit here. Next comes here, and then we want to actually pause the timeline somewhere. Example here, we add here a script saying stop, actually sim stop, like that, or here stop, like that. Okay, and then with outro we get that. Alright, let's try that. And actually let's do a one stop here as well. Sim stop. So now when we hit load, we get this frame. Then we hit play, it starts playing, it stops here. Then we hit next, it jumps here, we get scores, it runs and stops here, and then we can hit out, it jumps to the outro and animates those off. It should work. Okay, save, go to Caspar, clear. Alright, we hit load, everything's working, data is updating, and no animations. Okay, we get that we hit 50 because the WebSocket is still running. Alright, then we hit play. We get play, but it gets stopped before the actual animation. Alright, then we give command next, and now we get the animation and the timeline is again stopped, and then we actually give a stop command that's gonna fade and animate that. And only thing we have left is the cheerleader. Alright, so that's basically all the different methods that you can use. You can use your own scripting, you can combine it with the animations and the keyframe, basically keyframe animations here in the Edge Animate. And the triggers are a really powerful feature to combine. Stop the timeline, use the labels. Um, like here, you can just use whatever you want by changing these. The active mapping for the data, external data sources, the WebSockets. Okay, that's probably everything I want to go over. So it's pretty easy to use the Edge Animate now with the Caspar CG. You can easily change the content on the fly with your own scripts and integrate them with the Edge Animate's own timeline animations and triggers. I will continue to add more functionality, especially for the external data. For WebSockets, I'm probably going to do a major library to create or like a plugin library for this that it helps to control templates and the Caspar itself from the web page. But there's a lot of ways you can use the obviously the Caspar Caspar's own client, or you can code your own with Delphi or Livecode or whatever you use whatever you want, Adobe Air or what you used to. But HTML is also a good option to control the Caspar, not only the templates but also the Caspar itself. But that's it. Thanks for everyone. This was video is way much longer than I thought it to be, but when you start doing things, you wanna test and build more and more. And there's a lot of things that I would like to show you, but I don't have time now. So I suggest that you check out the Adobe Edge tutorials and get used to it. And then with this E2C library, you can easily start filling it with content and data from external sources or whatever you want and show them out. So that's it. Goodbye. Hopefully we will see more tutorials and updates for this. Stay tuned. Bye bye.